all, and welcome back to another thrilling episode of Off the Dome. I'm your humble interviewer, Jordon Brown, and with me, as always, is our brilliant bestie. Say hi, brilliant bestie.
Hi, brilliant bestie.
Oh, Vic, it's so good to see you.
Look
I'm
at us
so
back together.
excited. Someone asked me today if we would be recording another Jordon and Vic becoming friends, or is the schedule too busy for that? And I said, hopefully recording one today. And they said, can't wait for the return of my favorite Dropout reporter and my favorite queer icon and their technical difficulties.
Wow. Come on.
Yeah.
Big day for both of us. That is what praise.
High praise.
And I also, too, I got to start scrolling because I screenshotted all of those questions that people asked me.
A month ago.
And I am sort of like 106 when it comes to taking photos, and I take like 900 photos of each setup. Anytime I see something, I have like 9 photos of each one. That's how we all take photos.
Yeah. Yep. As rapidly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into those, I've got one for you. And this is in honor of Iffy and what he did this week. Did your family do the Hot Chip Challenge this year? Or have they learned their lesson?
Literally seeing Iffy's post made me realize that they did make chips last year, because as far as I had heard, 2022 was the last year they were going to make chips, that they had sort of like canceled it because of some unfortunate incidents. I think somebody passed away doing the One Chip Challenge, and so I thought that they had stopped making them. So this is good to know that they are still there. So we'll maybe bring it back summertime, I guess.
Yeah, I love it. I assume you've never even like taken the smallest nibble.
I did the One Chip Challenge in like 2017.
Wow.
It was the worst experience of my life. I did it for a video for something, and that's the only time previous to that I had ever eaten anything even kind of like spicy like that. And I can't really see myself. There was no world. At one point, like last year, my sister was like, "You should do it with us." I was like, "You couldn't pay me. There's no world. There's nothing about that seems fun.
Yeah.
Nothing about you guys doing it makes it seem fun. So it's a hard pass. Would you do the One Chip Challenge?
I mean, for views, probably. There's very little I wouldn't do to make people laugh. One of my favorite things about whichever TikTok, whichever year it was, is you are in full face paint from, I'm assuming, a Disney trip. And your family members are hurled up next to the toilet as they have eaten the spiciest chips in the world.
Well, because for me, that's what I find fun. You know what I mean? Is like getting my face painted. That I like, and that I think sounds like a good time. And whatever they do sounds awful and bad, and I think is a bad decision. That's
fair.
Well, if you do it, please have your family videotape you and sort of edit it together.
Yeah, absolutely. I liked Iffy's because it appeared to end with him on the toilet, which I believe is the proper ending to any I've done the One Chip Challenge.
Sure.
We are meeting day of VIP season 1 finale. Brennan, Izzy referred to it that your makeup team was trying to murder him. Because they covered him in fur, and he is a human furnace.
And we were shooting in a heat wave at the beginning of September.
Good. Yeah. So. Perfect. I'm fairly confident you haven't seen this because Sam posted it right before we started recording.
Ooh.
And Sam says, the season finale of VIP is something else entirely. In this vast and indifferent universe, I feel lucky to be alive at the same time as Vic Michaelis and Brendan Lee Mulligan, both as a colleague and a fan.
That's so sweet. I noticed friend wasn't in there.
Colleague and fan, yeah. Well, maybe that's on you.
That's tough.
When was the last time you reached out to Sam to establish your friendship?
That's really tough. That's really, really hard.
That's tough to hear.
We text on a semi-regular basis. That's tricky. And I hear the note and I'm listening, is what I'll say. I'm learning and I'm growing. I appreciate that. Thank you for the challenge, Sam. I appreciate that, is what I'll say.
Oh my goodness. And I haven't seen the episode, obviously. So excited to see it tonight. I wanted to grab you before the episode aired because we've technically not spoken. I don't know why I said technically like it's a trick. We haven't spoken after the last 2 episodes. So we did not get to speak after Allie's mom's face being stepped on.
I love
nor,
that.
yeah,
It's just performing with Allie Beardsley is such a treat, and I feel very fortunate that I get to do it on a semi-regular basis with our improv team, and just an absolute treasure. It was such a
and
fun
they
show.
really got you. They really got you real fast. Just out the gate, stepped on my mom's face, just instant.
Those Yetis really can break me, especially because I think in improv too, like, and I perform with them so regularly, and I have for such a long time. And I guess this season it would have been Jacob, Zach, and Allie, who are on my regular improv team. And I just, like, I don't know, getting to see them do something in somebody that you know so well do something in a new light and do something just, I mean, they make me laugh on a regular basis, but like watching them in the makeup really just crush it really just tickled me. I mean, like, it was amazing.
Yeah, such a good episode. My God, the back and forth between the two of you at the old man and the dog. When you were like, "What is like the first thing that comes to mind?" LGBTQIA plus, and your reply of this old bisexual man and his dog. Just incredible from both of you. And I guess extra bonus shout out to Paul Robolino holding his laptop so you could look at pictures of dogs.
Yeah.
Just
really
brilliant.
Saw myself in that old man and the dog.
It was such a good episode. But I mean, as was Martha and Lucian. No shade to them.
Oh, we're going in backwards order. Yeah, the two of them are just so funny. They're like sort of encyclopedic knowledge just of the world is insane to me. It was just like, you know, everything that we would throw at them, everything I would say, they had like a full like backup. Oh, that's my hat. And I was like, what is this? It's my hat. It's like a dog noticing their tail for the first time. And I'm just gonna, you know what, we're gonna do this because I'm gonna look at it and I'm gonna forget that I noticed it and we had this interaction. But yeah, I mean, they're just like so unbelievably funny, and like I thought was like one of the better uses of the green screen. Like, I thought across the board, like that episode, I really was like, I think that like the whole episode great, but I really think they sort of like hit our stride with the green screen stuff. Like, I thought they nailed it.
Super nailed. I mean, it's so nice to see, like, I mean, obviously we got Princess Emily, but it was so lovely to see a second brilliant musical performance by a composer I found out and have since forgotten the name of. It's not TJ, that I know. Because that's who I expected it, because he does all the sound mixing for all of Dropout.
And is a brilliant composer.
And is a brilliant composer. So I was like, well, that just makes sense. And so I was like, had to be you, right? And he's like, no. And I was like, got it. Okay, well, let me ask Tamar. So at some point I found out, and then it escaped my brain, as most things do.
Yeah.
It's how it happens. It's so brilliant. I also I got to talk to Ross this week as well.
Ross Bryant?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Amazing.
Yeah, I'm hustling this week. Like
you've had a big week.
It's a big week. You, Izzy, and Ross all in one week. And yeah, it was funny because the Izzy interview was a surprise to everyone because we had tried to schedule one before she left for like the UK Ireland tour. And so I had already posted like, hey, does anyone have questions for Izzy? And so because that had posted, I was like, I don't have to tell anyone that technically I can just like do the interview and surprise them. Yeah. So no one knew an Izzy interview was happening yesterday. And so I got to surprise everybody on the old Patreon and on TikTok with her delightfulness.
Man, how nice is that?
It was fun.
She's an excellent surprise. I don't know. I feel like sometimes there's surprises where it's just like, oh God. And this is one where it just is across the board delightful.
Delightful. It was so fun editing the clip where you like, because I think you saw the video where like you see my face doing my silly intro, which I did obviously apologize to her for that she has to hear it from another human being. But then like cutting to her, like it's just like, what a delightful surprise. And yeah.
She's the best. She's the best.
Yeah.
What can you say? She's the best.
We talked about you. I don't know if you've seen the clip I posted today.
No, I haven't. I don't think I've been online today. I maybe have a little bit.
Because you
I don't want to say that
commented.
and then be like, I have it online.
Yeah, I mean, we did message each other on Instagram this morning, but it was on TikTok, so it was a different app.
I see. I'm not really on TikTok anymore. I will go through like once a week or something like that, and just like poke around, do a lot of reposts. But honestly, it's as stupid as it's on a different place on my phone, and I forget it exists.
And it's impossible to move. So,
and it's impossible to move.
Yeah. Anyway, I replied to your comment with a video where Izzy and I talk about you and how brilliant you are. But unfortunately, we get interrupted by one of her cats opening the door. So it we start to talk about you, but obviously immediately derails into the fact that a cat opened a closed door.
Yeah, classic.
So, yeah.
I know the cat.
Tom Thumb. Does Tom have thumbs? Do you know?
I don't think so. I think it's more of an attitude.
Got it. That's fair. Because some cats have like 6 fingers and they have thumbs or whatever.
That can't be right. Is that
That is
true?
absolutely right. Yeah, I think they're
6
called
fingers.
Well, toes, whatever you call
6
them.
toes.
Yeah.
It wasn't the semantics that I was so surprised about.
Okay.
That is 6 digits.
Yeah. I'm looking this up right now. We're gonna scream to a halt. 6-toe cat. The Hemingway cats. Yeah. I don't know why. I knew that polydactyl cats.
Polydactyl cat. Crazy. Okay, well that's good to know. And now I have the page open, so I can peruse that later.
Great. Okay. We're educating folks out
We're
here today.
educating and ourselves a little bit too, which I think is important.
Very. So, we're not doing transitions today. The Emmys, Vic Michaelis on the short list. Goodness gracious. How's it feel?
Unbelievably shocking, and it's so kind of them to, like and watch and connect with the show and think that, we're worthy of being on a short list like that. Like, it is one of those things where, awards, especially in a social media space, are like so interesting, especially because dropout exists so much online, and so like part of it is like the people that are our fan base, we know how they feel about it, right? Is like they're letting us know immediately what they think, which is very cool and interesting, and it's cool to watch that. It's cool and special and interesting, and also like doesn't matter in a certain sense, but it's just like very cool to have people looking at the whole thing cohesively and go like, oh, we like this. It's just been a really, really interesting experience. And more than anything, like, I think for me, it's just morale and recognition of like the team as a whole. And like a lot of people worked so hard on this, and even though there's typically only 2 of us on screen, it's like, there's an insane amount of people that made this happen, and having their work recognized, I think, is just like the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously so well deserved. Both the show, but also your performance.
That's very kind. Thank you, Jordon.
And I'm excited for you. Oh no, that can't be a thing. Okay.
Itch. I promise. I'm not really a crier.
Okay.
But I can cry on cue if somebody wants to hire me to do that. I will do that.
Do I transition away from Emmys? No, I don't. We're going to stay here because obviously I talked to Izzy about Dead, so now we can talk about Dead because now you will not be the first person to have spoken about Dead.
Perfect.
But Emmys, Clayton Davis, huge fan of yours.
Rocks. We did a little podcasty interview with him a few weeks ago, and it's just like is so wonderful. And I think like reporters, like especially at the level he's at, like I don't know what I was expecting, but he just is like a very nice like normal person, and it just was like a really wonderful, fun conversation.
Yeah, it's so exciting because he's such a big deal and I don't know if it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy of like he makes a list of like, here's who I think will be on the Emmy nominations, and then they end up being on the Emmy nominations because he told the other like voting members to look out for those things. But who cares, because you're on it. And so
it's again, it's one of those things where it just is like so deeply surreal, going from doing improv for people. You know, maybe sometimes you're just performing for the people that are performing after you. And like, yeah, to have our show be on a short list like this is like very bizarre and cool, and it's very kind of Clayton.
Trying to get just one more laugh than you did the day before to potentially Emmy nominated. Hell of a journey.
A journey.
I will say at this point, obviously you promised to thank me in the top billing spot of an Emmy acceptance speech. I will let you rescind that promise. And you can just, what I would ask in return, just throw me in with the big block of names when you like thank a whole bunch of people.
I love that. Absolutely.
Great. Love it.
We'll come up with something cool and special and unique, and we'll come up with an excellent plan for that.
Okay.
But for yes, 1,000%.
Wonderful.
For the now assured thing that I'm going to be giving a speech. That's what I've taken away from this, is that they're guaranteed that win or lose, I'm allowed to give a speech, little speech.
I believe so. Yeah.
Honestly, why did they let the winner give a speech? They should let all the losers give a speech, right?
Yeah,
the winner gets the trophy. The losers are the ones that should be able to give a little speech. They don't even get the trophy. Their concession prize should be a little speech.
Yeah, just like, even if it's just backstage. Let everybody go backstage.
No, it should be in front of everybody.
In front of everyone at the full podium.
There should be no host. There should be no bits. It should only be loser speeches.
Have you started thinking about your Emmy fashion? You going to go like full Met Gala? You going to go tuxedo? What's the look for Emmy night?
J. Crew. 90s J. Crew. You know, perfect. We'll do a little maybe some Limited 2 if we can scrounge that up somewhere. Justice, something like that.
I love it. I know your big Emmy interviews kick off next week. Very exciting.
Big Emmy interviews.
You're talking to my friend Liz next week about the Emmys.
Yes, that is true. I'm so excited. Is she her?
Yes.
She seems wonderful and delightful. I'm so excited to get to chat with her for a little bit. And she's a correspondent with I didn't realize that she was Canadian, so this is very exciting.
Yeah, she keeps trying to claim you as full Canadian, and then we get into arguments that you moved there as a teenager. So
that is true, but I would say it's a little tough, shipping to mooring, but I do really identify and probably claim with like Canada as being home. At this point. I mean,
formative years. Obviously, like, you reinvented yourself in Canada. I get it, but for the sake of my argument, I will never agree with her that you're anything other than American, so that we get to keep you.
As is your American right.
Yeah. Oh goodness. I was attempting to decipher my notes, and I just have an arrow drawn and the word chicken, which took me a second, but I got there. The evilest bird you can think of. The speed, Vic, at which you said chicken.
People are fighting me on it being a Canadian goose, and I really hear you, but people know Canadian gooses are mean, and we're talking evil birds.
Right.
Chickens need your help. You got to take the eggs out, and so you're there doing it, and they're just going to peck the shit out of your hands. You know what I mean? They're going to run away. They're going to sort of like scare you a little bit. They're bad birds.
And don't leave eggs when you want them to, like on their schedule.
Yes, and sometimes it's a little scavenger hunt, and you're like trying to put them away at night or take them out in the morning, and they're like running away. It's like all of it is a nightmare. They're so reliant on you, and then are mean little assholes about it the entire time.
Delightful. I don't look. There can be eviler birds. I agree with you, but the speed at which you said chicken made it the correct answer. No one can disagree with that.
Thank you so much.
The fastest to the answer wins, right? That's always been the rule.
I love that, and I would agree with that. And it's also, a lot of it is conviction. We're having this conversation now. You know what I mean? I'm getting to pitch my case, and that's all you need. You need people to sort of buy in.
Speaking of pitching your case, if folks wanted to go check out tincanbros.com, oh no. It's .vhx.tv. It is absolutely still up. I was watching it this morning.
Okay, just kidding.
They can go watch the great debate, where I won't spoil the outcomes. I've also only watched the first round.
Okay, never mind then.
But at least that your first round pick for most fuckable cereal mascot. I love that you referred to Elsie the leprechaun from Lucky Charms as they, them, and then everyone on stage used he, him pronouns for them. Just felt like a real microcosm of your life.
And I also think, like, the more I thought about it, because I was like, you know what, they, he, I think, you know, it really is like he, they, like, I think, you know, like, and also too, like, that's my perception, but he, they have not said, so I also, like, we can't layer something on Elsie that Elsie is not, and so that's not honestly on me. And I'm sorry.
I'm on your side.
Okay, wait, close your eyes, and if you haven't watched the Great Debate, skip this part.
Okay.
Ready? Close your eyes, and then
this
will be a little treat for later.
Great.
Okay, open them.
Great, a great visual medium. It's me closing my eyes.
It's the use of the space.
Yeah. Absolutely delightful. If we want to do promos now, because I know we have a hard out in 29 minutes, and I don't want to miss the opportunity to say Star Wars table read at Dynasty Typewriter happening this Sunday if you're in LA. Also live streamed. Some brilliant folks alongside you. Friend of the show, Christina Ariel, going to be there on there. Like, it's delightful. Can you say who you're playing, or is that a secret that's going to be revealed on stage?
They haven't announced it, and so when will this go up?
I was going to try to get it up today, so before the show.
So I think they haven't announced it, and I don't know if they're keeping it a secret, so I won't say. But it's going to be a blast. I'll tell you later. I don't know how much of a secret it is. I'm happy to tell you off.
Perfect.
Mike.
Yeah. No, I'm super excited for it.
I'll send it to you in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, there is a chat, isn't there? I genuinely don't think I've ever used it.
Yeah.
Now watch this be recorded on the live stream.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it just pop up. I don't think they could.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But also, how delightful. That seems very fun, whichever character that might be. And I think you're going to be great at whomever. And everyone should tune in. And it's like super cheap. It's like $15 for the live stream. You got $15 to watch a bunch of brilliant people. Bobby Moynihan's going to be there. He's my pick for
Osmond. It's unreal.
Yeah, he's my Bobby is my pick for VIP season 2. I think you should pitch it to him immediately if he hasn't reached out already. Bless you.
Thank you.
What was I watching? I was watching something with him. Oh, because he's out promoting IF now. I was like, why was I just seeing Bobby Moynihan on my TV? Always delighted to see him. Do I have anything else I was going to promote for you? Mamma Mia, is that still happening?
Tonight.
Not Mamma Mia? That's tonight?
Mamma Mia, but different. Not Mamma Mia?
Boy.
Mamma Mia, but different. Is
Not-
that a dog?
It is a dog.
Is that your dog?
Yeah.
What
I have
kind?
a Boston Terrier.
Come on. I love that. What's their name?
PD, short for Pizza Dog.
Pizza Dog.
Which is from the Hawkeye comics and now television show.
A perfect name, PD.
Yeah. The only problem is, like when you go to a vet and they're like, what's your pet's name? And then they put the name of the pet in instead of your name, which is not how things should be because he can't call you. So then whenever I have to call him, like, all right, the dog's name is Petey. And they're like, got it. I can't find it. I'm like, right, because it's P.D. It's not Petey. This one's on me. But also kind of on you, have a better system for this.
Yeah, it could be under the human name.
Yeah. If I said it's Jordon Brown, they could look it up and be like, got it, you have a dog.
No, I mean, that would be hard too, because they're spelling it with an A. And so then they gotta sort through. And so that's
put it under my wife's name, Kelsey.
There we go. Okay, classic.
Yeah. So I think, have we done all of our promotions? I think that's everything I wrote down.
Obviously, do you have stuff that you're promoting? What are you doing? What are you up to?
My Paul Robolino interview drops today. Ross Bryant drops next Friday. Working on Kate Elliott, trying to figure out when I can get a time with her.
The best.
Kate's seems really fantastic. Kate emailed me and was like, could you send me the questions you're going to ask? And I was like, oh, Kate, you have given me so much more credit than I deserve. It's all vibes over here. It is indecipherable notes and vibes.
That's so funny. I never even thought to ask somebody to send questions ahead of time.
Yeah.
That's how my brain works. Is it never even occurred to me that people are really writing questions ahead of time, but I guess that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Some people are professionals.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
I'm
going to keep that in mind.
Not one of them. I write down things like, let's see, an arrow to. I write down things like Vic's stepdaughter, and then forget to say same age as Vic. A shocker and a scandal. Oh my goodness! I think. I mean, so my assumption is that we're getting more in host. I know we're getting more host Vic backstory tonight because everyone has told me that. With Brennan, surprise, Brennan gets philosophical on you.
But you know what? It really is one of those things where, like, I mean, it really does come to, like, the genius of, like, the way Eve edits and Tamar doing helping with the edits and the ordering. It just, like, really, it wasn't something that we, like, this was, like, a part of, like, the macro story that we sort of, like, Tamar and I had talked a lot about as sort of, like, a touchstone for this character to be very three-dimensional. But, like, I don't know, this sort of, like, the way the lore played out and the way that, like, people in the audience grabbed onto it was not something that we totally expected. So this was, like, the finale before we knew that people were going to be, like, this interested in what Host Vic had going on. So it is, it's just, it's a good time.
Yeah. Good time. And also, like, huge credit to Tamar and Eve for putting Martha and Lucian second to last. So we got that reveal of Host Vic's stepdaughter is the same age as Host Vic. So late in the season for people to just be like, because I saw it everywhere online after you said it, just like people losing their minds of just like, wait, what? I assumed a child. Host Vic has a full adult with them at work for no reason. So good. I can't wait for tonight. So excited.
It's gonna be fun. It's I'm very excited for this one. I'm excited for people to see it. I'm excited to see what people think of it.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. Do you want to ask me a question? Have you found any?
Okay,
Great.
Here are there were some more, but here's the ones I believe from Instagram, and so there's 5 that I have. Jordon. Okay, should I say who they're from?
If you want. I don't ever give people credit because then it makes it feel like I came up with the questions and I seem smarter. Okay.
Not me. Nobody's going to believe it. So I'm going to go Jalovensheimer, Jalovensheimer.
See, this is also why you don't give people credit because then you gotta stumble through that right out the gate. Yeah.
This is their question. My question for Jordon: if you could have dinner with any person, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh boy. I mean, obviously, I knew I was gonna point the wrong way, and the worst part is my camera's delayed, so I knew it was going to happen, and then I was gonna have to watch me point the wrong way. So frustrating.
Classic.
Dinner. Obviously, the person sitting next to me. What a dream to have.
Is that me? Because you did point in the
wrong way
direction.
Oh,
that would be like me pointing like this, which is the opposite direction for me.
I was pointing at you. I don't know.
How nice!
I mean, that seems delightful.
Okay, outside of me, somebody fun.
Outside of you, somebody fun. Oh man, I mean, it's J.R.R. Tolkien probably. The man. I have 2 tattoos of Tolkien-related stuff on my body.
You gotta.
Looking at a third, like, is there anything directly behind me? No, I don't think there's anything. Oh no, there is. There's a Lord of the Rings thing. Not a chance in the world. I'm pointing in the right direction. There. We got there. That's Gandalf on like a sheet of music. It's like the Hobbit theme, but they like put Gandalf smoking a pipe on it.
How fun is that?
And I think directly below it is a list of the Hobbit meals. It's very important in my life. It's most of my personality. It's Dropout, 95%, 5% Lord of the Rings.
I love that. A good thing with a lot of the Lord of the Rings stuff coming out. I feel like it's a good time to be a Lord of the Rings movie. What did you think of Rings of Power?
I really enjoyed it because I'm not a person that hates people of color and women. Weirdly enough,
is that why people hated it?
Yeah, because there were black elves and Galadriel was too strong or something. Which, like, hey, gang, read the Silmarillion. She's a badass warrior queen. Shut up.
That's so crazy. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
This one, Jimmy Buffett Power asked, "Hi Vic, huge Jordon Brown fan over here, and I heard you were interviewing him and taking questions, so I just got to know his hair care routine. Thanks,
Ooh,
Vic."
yeah. It is, God, what's it called? It's a pomade it's for when it's like this. Because then it's like it's still movable, so we're not like gelled, like hard shell. But as you have seen, I'm sure in my TikTok videos, when I'm not combed, it's a monstrosity of a nightmare. Someone commented, I had a video go like kind of viral, talking about Viggo Mortensen. And someone commented heat miser on my video, and I was like, well, you're not wrong. That is the hairstyle that I have. So yeah, it's a pomade that I can't remember the name of. It's blue, and I get it at Target.
Oh man, okay, awesome. So blue stuff at Target, I think was the takeaway
the lid
there,
is blue. The
to
actual
know.
pomade's like white, because that would be wild if it was actually blue. Yeah.
So the lid is blue. So
Yeah.
Tweet us your photos from when you're going to buy that pomade, and we'll let you know if it's right or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
A person not on Twitter, tweet me your photos.
K1102352M asked, if you could pick one previous episode of Game Changers that you would have liked to be on, what would it have been?
Oh boy. I mean, it's funny because I talked to Izzy this week, and one of the things I said to Izzy was, are you glad you were on Sam Says 1 and not Sam Says 2 or 3? Because they feel like they've gotten progressively stronger in terms of Sam's psychological warfare on the contestants. Like starts with don't flinch, and there's like a hand buzzer or whatever, and then like a thing pops out, and then a dead body drops from the ceiling. That is a significant ratcheting up.
Yeah.
God. I think, it's maybe recency bias, but I think Beat the Buzzer to be on an episode would be one of the most fun ones to be on, because it's just you getting to play games and not psychologically tormenting you. Like, it's not Escape the Green Room, which is my favorite episode, but I'm happy to watch, not participate in.
It's just
I think
fun. It'd be a fun one to participate in. 1000%.
Yes.
I think that's a great answer.
Thank you.
Okay. Caro_line said, "Hello, Vic. If you see this, can you ask Jordon if he were a kitchen utensil, which would he be? Thanks a lot with this groundbreaking and extremely important journalism."
Very important. People really have some interesting questions, don't they? Everyone's so creative. I don't know. A whisk? Is that let me bring some things together to make a cohesive thing.
Yeah, I think a whisk works. I don't think it's a traditional utensil in the sense, but I think it is a utensil, and that'll work.
Great.
A kitchen, something that is utilized in a kitchen.
Yeah.
Utilitarian utensil. Last question, and this is kind of similar to a previous one that we had, but different enough that I'm going to say it. Mason's Getting Upset asked, very important people, host and haver of the world's catchiest name, Vic Michaelis. Oh, that's me. That's very nice. Thanks. Can you ask Jordon Brown for me what Dropout show he'd most like to be a contestant on? Thank you for your time.
Oh, contestant on. I mean, the only show I would be any good at might be actually. I wouldn't be good at it, I should say. Was
the specification of the question good, or just the one you'd most like to be a contestant
most
on?
Like to be on? But like, I think similar to you, I don't want to lose. Like, I don't want to roll in and just like get crushed in like mediocrity. Throw me on the Grant and two guys, I think from the Try Guys, is that who they were? Episode of Actually this season, where it was like the baby round. Oh, never felt smarter in my life. Just
really?
Celebrity Jeopardy style, where I'm like, I know all of these answers. I think the one I do the best at is Actually. I mean, obviously.
But is that the one you would most want to be a contestant
of course. The one I would want to be a contestant on is sitting across from you on Very Important People, but that's never going to happen. I'm not a good enough improviser for that. I would just be relying on you to make me look good, which you could do. but I'm not going to put that burden on you.
Oh, that's very kind. What would your ideal makeup be? Like if you could pick a makeup look for yourself?
Oh man, I want to go like super, super buck wild, like Zach Oyama, Allie Beardsley, full transformation, so that when you see me, you're like, wait, who am I looking at? Like I want, if I'm on the poster, I want people to not know who I am.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, like people didn't know like Izzy on the poster, like they couldn't recognize her in her like Leanna look. So it would trick anybody. Yeah, disappeared into the character. Beautiful. Well, that was super fun.
That. Well, there are your questions. Thank you so much. If you wrote in and I didn't see them, I apologize.
The one and only time we'll do it.
The question commissions are closed. Thank you so much. And honestly, you could send them in. I just will not see them because I went looking for them this time, and I won't be doing that.
Good.
In my DMs now. So
yeah, close the DMs as you should. Perfect. Oh boy. Close the DMs and your laptop. Fantastic. Well, that was very fun. And I didn't recognize any of the usernames, which I expected there to I expected some like friends to sneak in some like real mean questions to ask me.
No,
also
earnest questions.
Yeah, that's very nice. Speaking of earnest, that's a transition. Dead. We haven't talked about it.
I thought for sure you were going to say ice cream. There's a place called Ernest Ice Cream in Vancouver that is unbelievable. It's so good. Their milk chocolate ice cream is the best.
My level of research has not hit ice cream places in Vancouver you might like, but
so we got a bar.
Yeah, I will get there someday. Oh man, the Ross Bryant interview started with me asking him a question about he didn't get it, which is fine. About he's in a I Think You Should Leave sketch, very, very briefly. And so I asked him if a Johnny Carson impersonator can do a hit. And he was like, yeah, I think let's bring back him and Jack Parr. And he named a bunch of mid-century hosts, and he's like, I think we could bring them all back, they'll all do great. And I was like, not what I meant, but I'm not going to correct you, we're just going to move on.
The brain's too big, so it filters out things like that, so there's more room for
it filters out dumb nonsense and is like, no, I have an actual bank of knowledge in here. I have to keep all of Shakespeare in my head at all times. I can't remember my one line from an I Think You Should Leave sketch 3 years ago. He's so smart. I don't understand Shakespeare improv. Do you? You're a brilliant improviser. It doesn't make sense, right?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm it's similar, I would imagine, to musical improv, especially because you speak so musically in the iambic pentameter a lot of times, where it is you just have to understand the structure of how that works so deeply in your bones that then you can focus on the clever rhyme or the structure of it. And I know intellectually how it works. It just is to do it so seamlessly that you're not having to be constantly thinking about melody and tone and things like that. Or the actual structure of the way you speak in the Shakespearean, it really boggles my mind.
Yeah. Agreed. A coworker of mine saw him in Des Moines do the Macbeths Adopt a Cat. And messaged me. It's a very weird experience. A coworker messaged me and was like, I love your interviews with Dropout people. And I was like, I don't love that you know about that. And now they're going to see this and it's going to be weird. It's fine.
Say hi. Hello. Happy you're here.
Yes. Very happy you're here. Don't tell my bosses that sometimes I talk about getting a job at Dropout. Let's keep that to ourselves. Anyway, Dead. I talked to Izzy about it. So I obviously we knew the story already was the story of Izzy's father passing and the trauma around that. And you're playing Izzy's sister, right?
Yes.
And so I know we've shot everything. And at some point we're going to do a Kickstarter type fund similar to the Grant and Allie movie, to get it funded so that it can get edited and get produced and pushed out into the world. I don't think I have a question. I just wrote down dead! Exclamation point, because I was excited that I had finally talked to someone about it.
Just excited. Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, I know more about the shooting process than any of the post process. That's obviously, you know, like Izzy and Brennan, but you know, it was just like a really wonderful experience, and I obviously love Izzy, and I only love her more after this process, which, you know, isn't always the case after working on something every day for, you know, like long hours for a month. It's but I mean, like, she's just the most brilliant, wonderful, funny, talented person that I know, and I'm so happy that I got to be a part of such a you know, a personal story, and she just knocked it out of the park at every turn.
Yeah, I know. Well, so speaking of brilliance and screenwriters, you didn't actually say that, but it's enough of a transition for me to get there. You, Izzy, Glenn Buzan, all in a screenwriting class together in your pre-dropout days, no less.
Yes. It was like heat of lockdown. There was sort of a UCB teacher who was teaching these like classes that was like, at the end of this, you'll have a script. And we were like, great. And all of us took it. It was, it was
Glenn
fun.
says your script was so funny. Still thinks about it.
That can't be true. Glenn wrote the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life, and then like months later wrote a best-selling comedy book, and now has a second best-selling comedy book,
which you should check out. Their mom's way worse than you. Their dad's way worse than you.
Worse than you. It's I mean, Glenn is like just, I think, a brilliant writer, and it's only a matter of, well, it's not even a matter of time. She is a best-selling author,
right.
And will continue to work and be very, very successful writing both comedy and anything that she wants, because she is the most one of the most brilliant writers for not just like the jokes and the comedy, which are all spectacular, but like the story of her screenplay, as I remember, it was just like, you know, really wonderful and heartfelt, and like and grounded in a way that was just like very cool to see.
It's delightful and so lovely. You're so kind. Do you want to get?
I'm pretty mean.
In when?
I'm saving it. I'm gonna save it. Here's what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick one. I can't even say that. I was like, I'm gonna pick one person. I'm gonna be so mean about that person. I'm like, you know, I'm definitely, especially at this point in my life, not afraid to be mean to people who deserve it. Because then I don't actually think it's mean. It's just, you know, being honest and telling the truth, and, you know, I don't know.
Look, I just hope I'm never on that list of deserving of Vic cruelty.
Could be. Well, it's not, because I think cruelty is like undeserved meanness, or like saying something that's like untrue. Like it's like a juxtaposition, you know what I mean? And not a mean thing to say about you, Jordan. You're so nice and so wonderful.
I don't want to get into nice compliment town. That's the worst for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Izzy called me an angel yesterday. It was awful. Anyway.
Yeah.
What was your script about?
Jordan, I don't remember. That's so...
So Glenn has a better memory of your script than you do.
I took that class twice, and so I have 2 scripts, and then I started working on a third one, and I think I remember the third one more than I do the first one. I legitimately don't remember what it's
But there's a future where, from screenwriter Vic Michaelis, pops up on a preview that we see.
Maybe. Can I be honest with you? I don't like writing that much.
Okay.
It is one of those things where it's like, I should say, like, I like writing features more than I read. Like, half hours, I think that there's, like, nothing I like writing less.
Yeah, that's fair.
I really like writing sketches. I enjoy that. So I did blanket start this by saying I really don't like writing, and I don't like writing the thing that I think a lot of people want. actors to be writing, which is like half hours. But I'm also just like, there's so many talented writers out there that like the amount of like work and time and energy I would have to put in to be like even a little bit up to their level is like so high for those half hours, especially. And even screenwriting, I do like screenwriting because it's sort of like stories, I guess, more. But I'm like, the level of effort and time and attention and like work I would have to put into being at that level would be so great. And there's just I'm just like not as interested. I would way rather like celebrate those people that are out there doing it and it's their dream, you know?
Yeah. Oh man, that was my dream for so long.
Screenwriting?
Yeah.
Keep working at it. I bet you'd
like
be wonderful. Okay, and then don't. Then don't.
Great. Yeah, I wrote a few. I mean, obviously no actual success, but like I entered it into some festivals where it made it to like the semis or whatever.
That's great.
Yeah, and it was like, I'm gonna keep doing this. And I was like, I'm not. So
life gets busy and it pulls you in different directions, and like, I don't know, who knows, maybe I come back 2 years and I'm just like, actually I started getting really into it and now it's like it's my dream and I love it, and that's kind of like a beautiful thing about life, I guess, is just like you don't know where you're going to be, and sometimes then you look back and you're just like, I can't believe I ever said that this was something that I wouldn't want to do. Who knows?
But to be fair, you won't remember that you said you didn't want to do it, so
ever.
It'll be easy peasy.
I don't remember anything. I say things and they disappear into the universe, and then sometimes they're recorded.
Yeah. Yeah, I was very struck by watching the Great Debate when the first question that you got about, it was your intro question, and you're like, did I answer your question? And he's like, no. I was like, a classic Vic move. But yeah.
I honestly, it's one of those things, I think, where sometimes I hear the first part of a question and I'm like, oh, great, I kind of have an answer for that. And then I realize I wasn't listening for the back half of the question because I was formulating what I was going to say for the first half. It's why interview type situations are tough, whereas positioning something like a conversation is great because then we can come back to it and it's a little bit more conversational. But like interview questions, with some of like the very few interviews I've done now, where somebody will just like ask you a question and then look at you and then you have to give the answer and they can't really interact because they need it for transcript or whatever, is so hard. And I've been so lucky that the interviewers that I've had have been like unbelievably like kind and generous and like really wonderful and clearly very good at their jobs. And I just like I can't do it. And I don't think I've gotten through a single one of them where I haven't gone back and been like, I am gonna have to ask you to repeat the question. I'm so sorry. Like after just rambling for a minute and a half.
Yeah. I'm glad. I feel like you've gotten more comfortable with me because you don't ask me to repeat the question anymore, or ask for like feedback, or like you're like, did I answer your question? We don't do that anymore.
Well,
you just go and it's fine.
The nice part is now it's like, it is more of a conversation. You know what I mean? Like now I feel like we do have a lot more back and forth. Like you ask questions, but I know if we like go off on a tangent, we'll come back or we'll find something else or we'll go somewhere else. And that's also like totally fine. Whereas like, I feel like, especially like seeing sometimes stuff that I say written in print is crazy, is literally crazy. And it's pretty undecipherable from my point of view. And that also might be because I'm dyslexic, and reading something that rambly is pretty wild.
Yeah. I feel like that's a tough pairing of I don't remember saying it. It kind of gets a little away from me at the end, and I'm dyslexic is a tough triple sow cow. Is that that's a figure skating thing, right?
I really love that. And I'll just also like make stuff up sometimes if I don't know what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where I'll like just start making up like, what is it? What do they call them? Where it's like not a metaphor. Is it an idiom where it's sort of like a thing people say? Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yes.
I'll just start making those up.
Amazing.
And people are very kind and often not correcting me, but sometimes I'll just use that as a filler where I'm like, you know how people say blah, 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 blah. And people are like, oh, yeah.
And they're like, oh, Vic must be Canadian, so it must be a Canadian thing.
And also, too, like, there's enough small towns in the world that it could be something somebody said somewhere, and I feel very confident about that.
Someone sometime said it somewhere. Vic Michaelis, absolutely incredible. Hey, if you have dinner with one dead or alive person, you gotta pick for yourself? You want to close on that? Don't feel pressure to say me, but I did say you. That's fine.
I won't.
Okay, great.
This is a wish. We're talking right now. Dead or alive, one person to talk to. Okay, I know.
Okay.
It's going to be okay. It's going to be, and now I'm forgetting his name.
You're going to end on a strong note. Vic Michaelis, absolutely delightful.
I forgot his name.
As always. Stay tuned next time, and maybe we'll have figured out who his name is.
It was really, really deep and thoughtful, and I can't remember his name, but
I love
just
it.
know the guy is big. President. It was a president.
Ooh, a tease. There are only like 43-ish of those, so assuming President of America, not.
President of America.
Great, yeah. Get in the comments, guess which president you think it was.
Yeah.
I'm going to say probably not Trump, probably not Biden, probably not Obama, because Vic would have remembered their names. So,
yeah,
there you go. Knocked it down 3. Get in the comments.
Who is it? Was an actor?
Ronald Reagan?
Oh, yeah. I would have dinner with Ronald Reagan. I'd poison his food.
Oh, goodness. Do you remember our sign-off?
Yep.
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
Not me.
Not me.
I can't. And I won't.
And I won't.
Nailed it.
Me too.